The question officially is, did Brock silence his doubters? But
Why don't you ask a doubter, Nick?
Well, I thought Brock played great.
against your Bears, that you were supposed to go to the
My ex.
Super Bowl.
That's my ex.
It doesn't matter.
That's your official. Your original
listen,
pick.
he played great. Now what, bro?
No, he did.
This is not. I was surprised this was such a hot button topic in the meeting this morning because there's no debate here. He played great.
We did. Who do you trust more?
We actually didn't. We did.
Who had more to prove?
Who had more to prove?
And who had more?
That was it. Well, so I'm very glad you walked right into that because I'm now very glad because I have been very consistent on that. I think the Niners, despite this game or this game notwithstanding, should not rush to pay Brock Purdy this offseason. Brew has been more dancing with the in and out. I'd pay him this, but not that. I'm not sure. And then thanks to our wonderful producer, Gianna, right before the show, I found out Brew has his answer. Roll the clip, please.
Did you see Brock Purdy? No Avengers, no problem. That was show me the money. Show me the money. That's right. I'm sorry. She's laughing at me because I'm all loud and stuff. Show me the money. I'm just going to leave it at that. We'll see what Nick Wright has to say about that.
So, Brew, you're giving your advice to the Niners is to give Brock Purdy the Trevor deal at least.
Yesterday,
yeah,
he didn't even have his backup running back.
No.
He had his third string running back, rookie Isaac Garindo, who I kind of like a little bit. Jawan Jennings, who's a number 3 receiver.
Jennings pretty good.
But
thanks,
Coach, you got to admit,
Decent
Brock Purdy has been a force multiplier with Jawan Jennings. From the Super Bowl onward, Jawan has looked good. When Ayuk stumbled earlier in the year and was dropping passes, he went to Jennings, and Jennings has been great now. Yeah. Jennings is looking like a real number 1 now, but that's with Purdy. Look, Purdy gets it done. Yesterday, Nick, of all the quarterbacks this season to play the Bears, Purdy had the best passer rating.
It was unbelievable.
Of any quarterback.
So you would definitively pay him?
I've always wanted to keep him, yeah. And I actually do think Purdy will. I don't know him at all.
But
I think he'll settle for 50.
Why do you always say that?
Because he deserves it all. Because he deserves it all. He actually deserves more.
But Mahomes deserves more. Mahomes left money on the table. Brady always left a little bit of money on the table.
But why do you think Purdy's going to do that?
I just feel like that's his character. I just feel that.
I don't know if the one game really defines a guy in terms of proving the doubters wrong. I thought it was a great game. I'm kind of with Nick on this too.
Oh my God!
Like it's. Do you have the graphic?
It is one game.
I got it.
The head coach had him speak the night before. He gave a rousing message.
Yes, he's
that was fantastic.
Too.
He lived up to it. But it's one game against a team that's reeling and
really good defense.
Well, they weren't very good.
All right, here's what I have. I thought you had a graphic on this. Brock Purdy yesterday became the first quarterback in the history of the NFL to have 6 games of 140 or higher passer rating in his first first 3 seasons. And remember, he didn't even, when he start 4 or 5 games his rookie season. And then, of course, he's the first one to have 13 games of 120 or more.
He's good.
So I
mean, just real
this
quick,
is a large sample size.
Let's just assume Wildes is right, and he's not going to take the Brew family discount. And he's like, hey, I'm the next guy up.
I like him better than Dak Prescott.
So you would be, if you're the Niners, you're okay with giving him $60 million a year.
I'm keeping Brock Purdy as my quarterback.
Okay, he won't say it. He said it to Gianna.
I'm keeping him as my quarterback.
Say it.
There's negotiations happening.
Points were at 15, completion percentage around 60. And it's just overall not great. And then he got sacked a bunch of times, which is kind of his thing. How concerning is Caleb's 7-game losing streak, Coach?
Yeah, I'm not as concerned about it as I think other people are. And I know you showed that graphic, but let's look at the last 4 games.
Seems
that
more
he's
relevant,
played.
More recent. I like it.
Well, it's just if we can bring that up. I mean, it's 65%, 240 yards per game, 7-0 yards per pass, 102 quarterback rating. So that's been positive. And this is a team that's in a complete state of flux. The biggest concern I have for Caleb is how many times he's getting sacked.
Yeah,
he's been sacked 56 times right now. I think the record's 76 times in a season. I don't think he's going to hit that. But he's got a shot. He's got a shot based off of the way they protect him. And getting past that PTSD of that many sacks moving forward could be a little tough.
Yeah, I'm more with Coach. I'm not that concerned because the one thing you can pin on Caleb somewhat, they're not scoring a lot of points. His numbers, you're right, Coach, his numbers actually have been really good over the last few games. And when they lost by a combined 7 points to Green Bay, Minnesota, and Detroit,
That's
3 straight games. So
good.
you could have maybe won 1 or 2 of those games, and Caleb did play well in those games. Yeah, this was just a different one. So, and Peyton Manning went 3-13 his rookie year. So it shouldn't have a long-term effect as long as they get the right regime in next year. But the hits are like.
Listen, I obviously am not concerned. To me, the comp I would use is Burrow's rookie year, and you just hope it doesn't end the way Burrow's did, which is Burrow got his knee blown out. But Burrow is 2-7-1. They finished 4-11-1. They ended up being able to draft Jamar because of it. Hopefully, the Bears are able to draft an offensive lineman because of this. I have a sincere question because you seem legitimately skeptical. How do you square your overflowing optimism about the performance of the 3rd pick of the draft with your real Drake May, with your real legitimate pessimism about what Caleb's done? When the numbers are similar, the Bears have a better record. I know that the Bears had far higher expectations, but you're of the belief the Patriots have good players.
But I'm of the belief that the Patriots have good players, but the rosters of the Patriots and Bears are vastly different. And the Bears had legitimate playoff hopes, and the Patriots were on the drive for 5. Caleb.
Say the division for the Bears is probably a lot tougher than the AFC East.
Yeah,
but remember they didn't start division play till late.
No, but they
still had struggling. Yeah, but they were
still in the. People thought that the Bears had. They have more optimism.
They do have more. I think they have
definitely more
easily more talent.
Yes. And then I expected Caleb to be further along in the race of quarterback eliteness. He was supposed to have the biggest head start, and Drake was supposed to be way down here from North Carolina. He had more room to grow. Then there's a little bit of eye test that I was expecting more special stuff out of Caleb, and I think every once in a while we see a special play, and oftentimes we see a play that feels like it can't. I think there is a reason why the internet, let's say, or there is a narrative there that Caleb looks consistently surprised, and not just me, that this isn't as easy as USC.
Sure. I think that's
there's
fair.
some plays where that would have been there last year, and now it's not like he's almost.
No, it's expectations, and I and others can take ownership of setting the expectations too high. Me probably the highest for the Bears. That's fair. But I don't think if you are just isolating the actual quarterbacking performance by these 4 rookies, that Jaden, I think, has outperformed everyone.
Yes.
I do not think that. I understand Bo Nix's team is winning. I think Bo has the fewest wows of any of the 4.
Yeah, but he's just steady.
And he's been steady. That's fine. He's certainly gotten better. I don't think it's fair for the folks that are, and maybe I'm just listening to too much of Simmons' pod and hanging out with you, but that are just over the moon about Drake May's performance and incredibly tepid about Caleb's. Again, neither's offensive line's been good. Neither's coaching has been good. Both teams have theoretically good defenses that have underperformed this year. And so, obviously, Caleb has way better receivers. That is no question about it. Way better receivers. I don't see as big of a difference between the two's performance this season.
Hopefully, they're both good. It doesn't, the Brown Russ this season is 6-1, bro. You've always believed in him. So, 250 yards passing. His yards per pass are pretty good. 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Passer rating is over 104 now. Should he be in the MVP conversation?
I'm allergic to dumb questions.
It's just, just because he's only going to play about half the season. Like, how many games
in the conversation?
10?
No, he doesn't need to.
9 or 10. He'll play. He's played 7, so they got 4 more.
He could play 11.
Okay, so he played 11 games. But look, if he played the whole season, absolutely. Now, I wouldn't say he'd be at the top of the conversation, but he'd be a top 5 candidate right now if he were playing the entire season and they were winning at this pace. Like, you saw his numbers. He's playing really good football.
So who's he knocking out at these numbers? I mean, like, so you have Josh, you have Goff, you have Lamar.
Watt 5.
No, but hold on. But Darnold, you can't make the argument for him that's not for Darnold.
Darnold's trying to get in there.
In the conversation.
But he doesn't have the offensive supporting cast that Darnold has.
I think he's not even in the conversation for MVP of the Steelers. The Steelers.
He'd be in the conversation.
TJ Watt's the MVP of the Steelers.
6-1.
Justin Fields was 4-2. If we're going to do the record thing.
Justin Fields had 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, like what are we? I mean, I think Russ
their offense is taking off.
I think Russ is having an awesome year, and good for him. The Steelers have an awesome year. MVP conversation is insane talk. Even if he had played the whole year, but given the fact that he hasn't, it's insane. Categorically.
Can I please tell you where he's the MVP? He's absolutely the MVP. So right now he makes $1.2 million on the salary cap. Do you know where that ranks him in quarterbacks?
87th.
Close, 58th.
50. Oh, sorry.
He is
overshot it.
Think about that.
Yeah.
No,
he has
$1.2
million in salary cap for the Steelers. So there he's the MVP.
If they keep winning, he's in the conversation.
I mean,
he's not top 5. He's in the conversation.
How many people are in the conversation?
Oh, if you talk about
50.
If there's, the conversation would have to get to 25 people.
He's
not.
If he had played
He's
the whole
not
year
in
like
the
this,
No. Wiles talking about right now. There's not this
Stafford's
big
not in
deal.
the conversation.
What?
Stafford is not in the conversation.
For the record, he has the exact same odds as Matt Stafford right now.
He should be in the
exact same odds.
conversation.
But that's only
is
because
Mahomes
he
in the
hasn't played
conversation?
enough.
Of course Mahomes is in the
Penei
conversation.
Sewell in the conversation?
Yeah, he's in the conversation.
All right, so is TJ Watt in the conversation?
Of course.
Is Bo Nix in the conversation?
No.
Is Jaden Daniels in the conversation?
No.
Okay, just so you know, he has
Wait,
the same
Jaden
odds as
Daniels
Bo
isn't
Nix.
in the conversation.
10-3.
If
He was in
Russell
the
Wilson's in the conversation,
He was in the
Is
conversation.
Lamar
He left the
Jackson in the conversation?
Of course Lamar
Is Derrick Henry in the conversation?
Derrick Henry's in the conversation.
Okay,
It's a big conversation.
It's a long conversation.
It's when if you do a podcast
It's an
called
audio book,
NFL
not a
MVPs,
conversation.
it's like, now let's talk about Russ.
No,
How long is that podcast? 3 hours?
Is Joe Burrow in the conversation?
Yes,
No.
100% Joe Burrow's in the conversation.
Right
You see
now,
his numbers?
if league MVP was, if it said a sub rule was, has to come from the AFC North, would he finish in the top 5? The answer is no.
Russell Wilson?
No. The answer is no.
Oh, no,
If it was just an AFC North award, you would have Lamar.
Yeah, Derrick.
You would have Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
You would have Joe Burrow. You would have TJ Watt.
I wouldn't have Burrow.
But he's in the conversation.
They got how many wins they got?
This
4.
is- you
Burrow
dominate
is
the
almost as many
conversation.
wins as Russell Wilson for you win zealots.
Yeah,
How
but
many
he's
losses
got
he
way
have?
more
That-
losses.
Zach,
right. He got more losses.
Let's look at the
than-
quarterbacks with 1 loss.
Okay, so it's just Mahomes, Goff, and Russ.
Hello, great conversation. Guy doesn't lose games.
Russ
You're going
is
to penalize
balling.
him?
Russ
He was
is
hurt?
cooking.
Can I just tell you something?
Russ is cooking.
In the conversation.
This is my fault because I wasn't on the morning meeting. I cannot believe we just spent 5 minutes on Russell Wilson, league MVP.
No, the issue is we shouldn't have done it whether he should be in the conversation, because if you have a conversation about it, it means he's in the conversation. You can't have a conversation about Caleb.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.